Hello and welcome to Velocity Talks. My name is Christopher Durham and I'm the president of the Velocity Institute. This, of course, is our opportunity to talk to all the cool people in the retail and the private brand industry. Today, I'm excited to welcome Wayne Bennett. Wayne, it's great to have you, man.
Chris, it's great to see you. Thanks for having me, and it's always a pleasure to be in your presence, Chris.
Thank you, sir. Before we jump in, though, let me do the obligatory YouTube call out. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, share. Every time you engage with what we're doing here, it helps us spread the word. So we appreciate your help. Wayne, first of all, let's talk about you a little bit. Tell us about Wayne Bennett.
All right, Chris. I'm presently with ECRM and RangeMe. I've been here for about 8 years. Prior to that, I was the vice president publisher of an industry trade publication, Drugstore News. I currently live on Long Island. I have two kids. One is out of college, one is in college at the Penn State University, going to Nittany Lions. And I
Congratulations.
live on Long Island. My wife and I love the beach, and I have access to the beach. And so here I am.
So tell me a little bit about your career. You did drugstore news and talk to about that path and about getting to ECRM and all of that.
Yeah. Chris, I was the business leader for that publication, responsible really at the time of a major transformation from going from a print publication, to a
Mhm.
multimedia platform that was inclusive of taking ownership of digital media transformation and scaling live in-person events, and had the opportunity to transform the publication into a multimedia publication that served the drugstore industry, which not only inclusive of CVS and Walgreens, but really wherever there was a retail pharmacy. And at a time of which the industry was evolving to become a retail community healthcare provider, leveraging pharmacists, pharmacy
Yeah.
technicians, and even at a time when primary care retail clinics became part of the domain of the retail drugstore business.
When did you jump from there to ECRM?
I'm here now with ECRM about 8 years. And
Okay.
so I was a partner to ECRM. I had attended ECRM for many years. When the current CEO joined the company, I was part of an advisory board to help shape the future of ECRM, and ultimately wound up running the retail engagement for ECRM and RangeMe.
So let's jump into ECRM and RangeMe. Tell us about the business. What do you guys do? Give me the elevator speech.
Chris, we work with retailers and merchants across food, mass, consumer good industries, and we help business growth. We leverage our technology platforms of ECRM and RangeMe, coupled with in-person engagement and high-level customer support to drive business growth. We help retailers save time, save resources, and really designed to help them in the age of less resources do more with less. And that was really the foundation of the company, which, by the way, in 2024 is celebrating our 30th anniversary. And so we help merchant teams drive better quality meetings, enhance the preparedness of buyer and seller meeting quality, and again, drive business results. Everything we do is curated around the needs of the merchandising team, whether it's around new product innovation, product sourcing, category line review management support to drive outcomes around own brand development, supplier diversity, localization, sustainability. Wherever product assortment mix will drive outcome, we support that effort. And there are a couple of things that your audience might be aware of what we do. So we work with retailers at our category level programs, which in 2024, there'll be 75 across food and beverage, health, beauty, wellness, and non-food consumables. But we also curate personalized experiences for retailers. So for instance, we're very active with the Walmart Open Call and Growth Summits. We are working with Albertsons in their innovation launchpad. And in the own brand side, just some recent examples have been in Wakefern Own Brand Summit, and also now working with Meyer with the Frederick line.
The Wakefords one's CraveCon coming up.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly. So that's what we do. I know that's a lot, but
No, it's okay. But so let's reduce it down because I think most people probably know who CRM, but if they don't, so basically you guys are a company that uses people and software to facilitate events that include a lot of meetings, kind of speed dating style. Would you?
I would say, Chris, that's very well said, with a very intentional effort around matching buyers and sellers based on needs and capabilities.
So getting the right people in the room. right.
Getting the right people in the room,
Yeah.
vetted across needs and capabilities, full alignment. So yes.
So then I know ECRM acquired, merged with what have you, RangeMe a few years ago. Talk about RangeMe a little bit.
So RangeMe, yeah, about 8 years ago when I joined the company, they acquired RangeMe, which was a startup company originally founded in Australia and then moved to San Francisco and has become now the world's largest global product discovery platform. We have hundreds of thousands of SKUs and hundreds of thousands of brands in the platform that retail merchants can use to discover new product opportunities based on capabilities as easily as one, two, three. If you can buy online, then you can use RangeMe. RangeMe is also a very powerful tool to help retailers navigate inbound product submission management. So if I'm a supplier looking to do business with a particular retailer, I will inbound into RangeMe, capture relevant information, and then triage that to the appropriate merchant team. So it becomes a very highly effective tool to drive new product innovation.
And you guys work across pretty much all categories, right? I know I've seen you with Lowe's Home Improvement and Walmart and drugstores and you name it.
I would say, Chris, we're covering the entire mass market. The only area where we really do not have any access, very limited, is in the apparel space.
Maybe next year. Who
Maybe
knows?
next year. But food and beverage, health, beauty, wellness, non-food consumables, pet, back to school, all of that is under the domain of the enterprise.
Very good. Talk to us a little bit about your coming year. What does it look like? What exciting things do you have going on?
I think the year ahead, really, again, as I mentioned, 2024 is the 30th anniversary of ECRM, and the company was always much based on in-person engagement. We had a little divergence when COVID came, and during that
Didn't we all?
time, we
Yeah.
all did, but we were able to capitalize on some technology capabilities that we had and built out a very robust ECRM Connect virtual meeting platform that added in a lot of capabilities to really drive and optimize buyer seller engagement. But now, given back the legacy and the need for the market to be high touch, one on one, highly engaged, all of our programs in 2024 will be back in person. I was just at our cosmetics, fragrance, and bath program in New Orleans. It was a terrific event, a lot of great buzz across the stakeholders in terms of buyers interested in being there and suppliers bring product innovation. So I think we are focused on reestablishing the in-person business model and continuing to use RangeMe as a way to bring incremental opportunities to the marketplace.
And it looked like you guys had a great anniversary party there and did the line down the street and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was the second line. That was a lot of fun to the House of Blues, and it was a great time.
That's very exciting. As for retailer owned brands in particular, talk to me a little bit about the events that you have coming up in the year.
Oh, yes. Multiple events across the three major verticals. June, we have a big skincare, hair care program. We move into the later part of a healthcare across grocery. February is a big center store week with about 12 different center store categories. Frozen, deli, dairy, bakery. In the GM space, a pet, back to school, home, housewares. So we are full steam ahead in bringing buyers and sellers together across all of these different categories.
I'll tease and Wayne and I might be working on some stuff in the coming year, so stay tuned and maybe we'll have some big announcements
Yeah.
about some partnering we're going to
Yeah,
work on.
Chris, and I appreciate that, and I will tell you, in the few years we've known each other, coming from a content orientation and understand that content is king. Just a quick shout out to you and your team for the great work you do in advocating, supporting the role of the own brand industry and bringing parties together. And I do agree that I think the capabilities of both organizations would be offering incremental value to the audiences that we are
Yeah,
talking
well,
to. I
hopefully we
would,
can get it. Hopefully we can get everything lined up and we'll have a big announcement pretty soon.
sure, sure.
Very good. So let's talk about the future a little bit because I know between the trade mag history that you have and ECRM and RangeMe, you have been in and around the private brand industry, the own brand industry for a long time. I always like to use the crystal ball and say, what does the future look like for retail and own brand? What could it be? What should it be? What are your thoughts?
Chris, I think when own brands appear on the metaverse, I think maybe the future will have arrived.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of what we see is obviously a trend towards premiumization, right? We
Mhm.
see a big trend around sustainability as the own brand can really lead and drive the sustainability conversation within the retailer. I think related to that is obviously a conversation around better for you and how own brands can drive that better for you, whether you call it food as medicine or
Yeah.
food cares or whatever it is. I think own brands play a very interesting role. And when you look at the statements that retailers, I mean, today, own brand in the United States in food, drug, and mass is probably 25%. But I think you would agree that a lot of people want to drive it to 40% or
Oh, sure.
50%. And so
Sure.
there is a long runway of opportunity in the own brand space. And how can the industry become more transparent and more efficient in driving those own brand solutions to the retailers to help them achieve those goals?
We always like to end up with the same 5 questions, and you've had a look at them. But the first question is, what's your favorite word?
I would say my favorite word is the word fantastic. Fantastic is probably my favorite word. My wife would laugh if she heard me say that, but the word fantastic is my most favorite word.
My kids would give me a hard time about that one, so
Fantastic?
I think I say absolutely a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Absolutely. Fantastic.
that's right. Question number 2, are you a more artistic or more mathematic person?
I would say, Chris, that's a real great question. I would say that I probably am a more artistic, creative type than I am a mathematical, logical type. So my brain, I think, works not sometimes logically, not illogically, but I think more from an artistry, creative perspective.
Very good.
Yeah.
Number 3, if you could share a meal with anyone past or present, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Chris, I took that. I thought about that question, and I there were three people that I probably would love to dine with or pick the brain of, and those three people would be Warren Buffett with his business sense and his just humbleness. I would say Ben Franklin for being the statesman and inventor that he was, and the role he played in innovation, right,
Mhm.
in America.
Okay.
And I thought about, which ties into the last question or the next question, is probably a jazz musician of sorts. And the person probably that comes to mind, because related to the next question, would probably be a guy by the name of Chet Baker, who is a famous jazz trumpet player. And I like his style and I like his musical approach.
That'd be a heck of a dinner party, man.
That would be a dinner party. It would be it'd be a fantastic dinner party.
I've gone to a couple of dinner parties that some agencies in Chicago threw, and they were always really good about, like, bringing a random people into the dinner party. It was like an animator from Disney and a ballet dancer and all that, and the same kind of thing you've just put together there. It'd just be fascinating.
I would agree.
Up next, what profession other than your own would you have liked to have attempted?
Chris, I think that relates to the part I probably would have to become a jazz musician.
What would you have liked to have played?
I am a trumpet player.
Oh, okay.
I am a trumpet player, and maybe one day, in when I hang up the shingle of doing what I do, maybe that might be something I can do.
Did
I
you
played.
did you take your trumpet down to New Orleans and play with them?
I did not, but I certainly would have loved to.
Sounds like a missed opportunity there. We'll have
Yeah,
to
I'm working on
rearrange
it. I got two of them right over here, ready to cut loose at any moment.
that. Awesome.
Yeah.
And question number 5, if you could speak to yourself at the beginning of your career, what advice would you give yourself?
Chris, that's a really good question. And what I would say, take risks early and understand is that the power is in saying yes. It's too easy to say no, but take risks early and the power is in saying yes.
That's a
So I would leave those two life lessons to your audience in terms of that question.
absolutely. All right. So thank you for joining us, Wayne. We always like to close up just plugging a little bit of what we've got going on. So, of course, the Vertex Awards are open right now for entries. They actually close on the 31st, so just around the corner. So, if you would like to participate and judge yourself against the best private brand design in the world, please go to vertexawards.org and enter. It's a great competition, and we will have award ceremonies at the Velocity Conference in Charlotte in May, and then a few weeks later in Amsterdam. So it's a great time both here and in Europe. Following that, we have our first virtual event of the year, which is the Velocity Private Brand and AI Summit. So it's all the buzz right now. So we're going to talk about what are the opportunities, what are the watch outs, some great speakers that are going to take the virtual stage and really present on private brand and AI. It's absolutely free, so please join us. You can register at velocityinstitute.org. Wayne, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate the conversation.
Chris, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here on your podcast. And again, Chris, kudos to you and your team for the great work you do in bringing dialogue, discourse, insights, discussion, and connectivity to the own brand space. It's a pleasure to see you again and look forward to connecting in the near future.
Thank you very much.